So, you're a dog owner in Port Orchard, and you know how great it is to live here. Well, this guide is all about helping you find the right trainer, someone who really understands our local lifestyle, so you and your dog can get out there and enjoy everything our town has to offer. We're going to break this down into 4 parts. First, we'll talk about what makes having a dog here in Port Orchard so unique. Then, we'll get into all the different training options you have. After that, we'll cover how to actually pick the right person for the job. And finally, we'll go over some of the local rules and resources you should know about. Okay, let's kick things off by really looking at what it's like to have a dog right here in our community. Understanding the environment is a huge first step toward getting that training right. I think we all have that mental picture, right? A beautiful day, a nice, calm walk along the waterfront with your dog just trotting happily beside you. Well, that picture doesn't just happen on its own. It's absolutely the result of good, consistent training. And this is the reality of our day-to-day life here. Your dog has to be okay with all the things that make Port Orchard what it is, from the bustle of the ferry terminal to a quiet walk in a neighborhood park. Good training helps them handle all of that without getting stressed, which honestly just makes life better for you, for them, and for everyone around you. So now that we know why training is so important here, let's figure out what your options actually are. It's a really good idea to get a handle on the different methods, formats, and of course, the costs before you start making calls. Okay, this is probably the most important takeaway. Modern effective dog training is all about positive reinforcement. Instead of punishing a dog for doing something wrong, the whole focus is on rewarding them for doing something right. This works so much better, and it also builds a really strong, trusting bond between you and your dog. You're going to see 2 main options pop up pretty much everywhere: group classes and private lessons. Group classes are awesome for getting your dog to focus when there are other dogs and people around. Private lessons, though, are perfect for zeroing in on those specific problems that happen at your house or on your street, like going nuts when the doorbell rings or pulling on the leash every time you walk past that one house. There are a few other choices, too. Day training is a great fit if you're really busy. The trainer does the heavy lifting with your dog and then shows you how to maintain it. Board and train is way more intensive. Your dog actually goes to live with the trainer for a few weeks. And then there's behavior modification. This is less about sit and stay and more for deeper issues like serious fear or reactivity. It's a very structured approach to help change your dog's emotional response to things. And of course, we've got to talk about the budget. This table gives you a pretty realistic look at what to expect for training costs here in the Port Orchard and Greater Kitsap County area for 2025. You can see a group class series usually runs somewhere between $150 and $285, while a single private lesson will probably be between $100 and $180. Hey, and speaking of setting expectations, this is a fantastic tip, especially if you've just adopted a dog. It's called the 3-3-3 rule, and it gives you a realistic timeline for their adjustment. Give them about 3 days to just decompress, 3 weeks to start learning your daily routines, and a full 3 months to really start feeling like they're at home. Remembering this helps you train with a lot more patience. Okay, you know the lay of the land now. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of how you can feel really confident when you're vetting and picking a trainer for you and your dog. A really good place to start is by looking at their credentials. Now, there's no legal requirement for this in Washington state, but certifications show that a trainer has really put in the time and money to further their education. It's just a quick way to gauge their level of commitment and expertise. I know, this just looks like a bunch of letters, but these acronyms actually mean something. For instance, a CPDT-KA means they've passed a big test on training knowledge. But something like a CBCC-KA or an IAAB-CDBC is a bit different. Those signal a specialization in more complex stuff like aggression or serious anxiety. It shows they have a much deeper background in animal behavior science. So when you get a potential trainer on the phone, this list is your best friend. Be direct. Ask about their methods. You're listening for positive reinforcement. Ask how they're going to make a plan that fits your specific dog. And here's a huge one. What do I need to practice between sessions? Because your involvement is what's going to make all this training actually stick. All right, let's wrap this up by putting it all into context. At the end of the day, successful training means being a good canine citizen right here in our town. It's really important to know the local rules of the road. In Port Orchard and all of Kitsap County, your dog has to be on a leash in public spaces, they need a current rabies vaccine, and they have to be licensed with the county. And keep in mind, excessive barking can actually become a legal nuisance issue, which is something a good trainer can definitely help you with before it ever becomes a problem. And yeah, let's be clear about that leash rule. The standard is a 6-foot leash. That's not just a guideline. It's about safety and having control, especially when you're downtown or on a busy trail. Those long, retractable leashes just don't give you the same security in crowded spots. So, once you and your trainer have laid down a good foundation, you have to take those skills out into the real world. Practicing in different places is how the training becomes truly reliable. And we are lucky to have some amazing places to do just that. The Port Orchard Bark Park is perfect for practicing recall off-leash in a safe, fenced-in area. Suter Park is fantastic for working on leash skills with real-life distractions like people, seagulls, and the fairy horn. And Harper Estuary is a wonderful spot to teach your dog to stay focused on you, even with all those tempting smells of wildlife on the trails. So, as you get started, just think about your goal. Maybe it's just being able to walk down Bay Street without your arm being pulled out of its socket. Or maybe it's having a relaxing afternoon at the park, or having friends over without a jumping frenzy. Finding the right trainer is that first big step to making it all happen. Best of luck to you, and here's all the amazing new adventures you're going to have with your dog.